Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm not finished with my cold brew, so that'll be a to be discussed.
I'm working on my cold brew. I went this morning to Starbucks and got my cold brew.
What was the flavor of choice today?
I went with the vanilla. I'm sorry. Yeah, the vanilla sweet cream cold brew with sugar-free vanilla syrup.
Not the
So
toasted sugar-free or toasted
they're
vanilla syrup?
they're out of oat milk.
Oat milk is the new thing.
It's the thing. I had lunch with a friend yesterday, and we got lattes, and they're like, "What kind of milk do you want?" I was like, "I don't know, almond, I guess." And they were like, "Oh, we suggest oat milk," and I was like, "Oh, I forgot. That's the new craze."
It is. What's funny is I've kind of been drinking it for over a year and a half now. Like it's
Yeah,
I have. I've
I
bought it.
do. I do.
It is so hard to find in stores right now.
It's the new fad.
It is. It is. So I did even have to put almond milk in mine this morning because my Costco order was my 6 pack of oat milk will be here. It's the only place I can get it consistently.
I'm surprised you don't make oat milk.
Jason, I have thought about giving those kind of things a try. And then I'm like, Haley, you have enough on your plate.
You know what? Believe it or not, I swear to God, I watched a video yesterday how they make oat milk, and yet literally I thought I could do that. Like, it's not hard.
No, it's not. I kind of think of the mess too.
I mean, it's a lot of draining, adding ingredients. It's a lot of stuff. So yeah, no. So what is next on your travel agenda?
Hard to believe, but I'm cruising next weekend on Independence with family for Jeff's birthday, and there's a few other Today in Travel people in there, so it's a pleasant surprise. So we're doing that, just 3 nights, simple Bahamas, and then a week from next week, or a month from next week, I will be doing Hawaii with little girl.
Fun. And just the two of you.
No, Jeff will be there for that one.
Okay, 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 good.
He's
Good.
allowed to come, but I had some hotel rates open up that I could
Good.
not pass up because not everybody can stay in Hawaii for $45 a night.
No, Hawaii was expensive.
Oh, it's super expensive. I mean, and I'll obviously still spend some money there, but Paris and Maui in particular usually trade number one and number two spots for the highest ADR for hotel rooms in the world.
Really.
It's obscenely expensive, especially Maui. Obscenely.
I will always remember the special day we had in Maui together, Haley.
We had such a special day, especially day two was so special in
It
Maui.
was so special. So special. I will forever remember our 2 days in Maui.
That lives rent free between your meltdown waiting for the car and then me seeing hair braiding. It was just was over.
I did. I had a meltdown that day. I did.
I tried staying
Uh,
positive, but that hair braiding stand broke me. Something inside me snapped.
I mean, look. On a positive note, I was glad we got to see the Hyatt Regency there. It was a beautiful property.
Very beautiful property.
It's a beautiful property. We've had some friends who've stayed there before, and I've put clients there before. So I mean, it's a beautiful property. And if I went back to Maui, I would go back there. I mean, I really would. I mean, it was a
Yeah,
beautiful,
and
beautiful
Maui
property.
is beautiful, and I mean, just looking at it is beautiful, and I'd love to do the road to Hana sometimes, but what a day. Guys, remember if you are watching on Facebook, you need to tell us who you are when you comment in the comment section. I'm going to put a little link down here. We are going to be making a move eventually. Hopefully, I think April is when we're going to try to aim for that.
That'd be good.
I mean, we'll still be doing this, but everything will be officially housed on a Today in Travel YouTube channel.
I love it.
Tips and tricks.
I think it's going to be fun.
What's next on your travel agenda?
In 3 weeks, I am headed down to Florida for a week on the Norwegian Joy.
Have you been Norwegian?
Nope, this is my first time on NCL. So I will be spending 7 nights Western Caribbean, going to their private island. So I'm actually kind of excited to see their private
It's
island.
it's a work kind of function, I'm assuming.
Yes, yeah. So it's a seminar at sea. My a little inside baseball. My Norwegian rep has been just begging to get some of my business, and she was like, "If you just come on this trip, do some classes, like you're our guest. We want to show off Norwegian." So I'm looking forward to trying it. I mean, and the Joy is one of their newer ships. It's just a couple years old. So maybe you'll see me out there doing laser tag and bumper car racing. And,
I want to see this. I need to see this.
I do. I love laser tag. I love laser tag. Yeah. So,
Hello, Jack.
all right,
Wonder.
well, guys, it is top of the hour, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Central Time, which means it is time for Today in Travel, where we bring you all the latest news in the world of travel, cruising, hotel, credit card hacks, points hacks,
We do love
airline news, right? So everything, you are in good hands with trusted travel experts. I am Jason Poole. I'm a travel advisor with Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative. And I'm just a cruise expert, love going to Europe, all-inclusive resorts in the Caribbean. And joining me from upstate New York, right? Upstate,
Western
West
New York.
State. I don't know.
Don't associate us with upstate.
Okay, joining us from up north in the state of New York, Miss Haley, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. My name is Haley. I own the hotel sales support company, Hospitality with a Flair. Been in hotels for almost 15 years. It hurts saying that. But just like Jason, I love to cruise. I love to go to Europe. I'm down to pretty much travel wherever. And like Jason said, we're here every week. So Jason, let's hop into it.
We have a lot of great news today, guys. So, Virgin Hotel opened its first hotel property in 2015 in Chicago. And since then, they've been kind of slowly opening more properties like Dallas. The Las Vegas one might be open by now. Miami is getting one. Nashville has one. It's about a mile from me. It's a really great property. I go there pretty often. It's just a cool vibe. Well, Virgin is now opening its first properties in Europe. They're going to be opening a pair of Scottish properties in Edinburgh and Glasgow. And Virgin's just trying to make itself more of a global brand. They said both hotels will still feel like a boutique style. So, like when you go to the Virgin Hotel in Nashville, it feels like a Nashville hotel. Lots of guitars, lots of music memorabilia. So they really try to make the hotel not be cookie cutter. So I'm looking forward to seeing what their Europe brands look like. The early photos look beautiful. So Virgin can be a brand to kind of watch out for in the hotel world.
Yeah,
Hotel expert.
I find it's kind of funny that now they're doing more in the UK. Like you kind of would have thought the UK would have been
Their
a
first.
starting point.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of nice. I think it'll be a nice brand for especially a US based customer to have that comfortability per se, like they would get with a standard brand, but still getting a boutique experience and highly sought after destinations.
I agree. So that's some great news. I've told friends Virgin's a great place to stay. It's not it's not as
Luxurious. It's not
luxurious
luxurious.
as a Grand Hyatt or the new W in Nashville, but it's a really nice property. So, yeah. Well, good news for those wanting to visit Puerto Rico,
Go
and I have
someplace
a lot of
warm.
go somewhere warm, and I have a lot of clients that also cruise out of Puerto Rico. They are dropping pretty much all COVID guidelines for travelers coming from the United States. So, dropping all COVID requirement, like as far as testing requirements, they're dropping the vaccine requirement, quarantining. So, basically, Puerto Rico was saying, please come visit and give us your dollars. Um, I hate off before we got on the air. Haley and I were talking about how we both have flown to Puerto Rico to be together. We both got on a cruise ship together out of Puerto Rico, and I like it down there. I
I
really do.
do. I created that local bar crawl
Yeah,
itinerary on my blog. I really love it. Culture, people are fantastic. It's gorgeous. It's a little slice of paradise. It really is. You can get that
they
great mix of nightlife with your beach,
yes, yes,
which I love.
and they since they're a very um, Catholic culturally, they celebrate Christmas to the Epiphany. So we went
And it's so
right after the New
beautiful.
Year, and it was still Christmas. It was great. It was beautiful.
I love
It was
all of
beautiful.
it. And guys,
I
keep
do
in
too.
mind, there's so like we could fill up this entire show with every place that's dropping their guidelines right now. Like the UK's dropped
Right.
theirs, Ireland's dropped theirs. So we're starting to see things truly go back to normal, which is
Finally. You know, it's funny. This week, 2 years ago, was our last normal week. 2 years ago,
when I was
this week.
getting over my jet lag from Paris.
Yeah,
Trip.
yeah, yeah. So, talking also about things getting back to normal, Hawaii at the end of this month is lifting, like Puerto Rico, pretty much all of their restrictions, right? So, you don't have to quarantine. As far as like vaccine requirements, it's just being much easier to get to Hawaii. Again, Haley and I could talk to you for hours about what's France doing, what's Italy doing, what's Japan doing. But we just thought we'd bring you a few of the highlights. Of course, always check your where you're going. I know like Delta has a great online
They
tool
do.
that you plug in your country, where you're leaving from, if you're connecting through anywhere, what your vaccination status is. Boom, it just tells you all you need to do. So just do your own research, but we're just bringing you good news that things are getting back to normal.
I won't lie. I'm definitely excited that Hawaii's dropped a lot of their things because even if you were vaccinated, there were
Uh-huh.
a lot of hoops to jump through. And,
Hmm.
everybody has their right to run their state, country, whatever the way they
Yeah.
want to. But it was not an easy feat to do this. So I'm pretty thrilled that I don't have to jump through those hoops right now.
No, that is great. Okay. Well, guys, this is some exciting news.
Yeah.
Marriott, the largest hotel brand in the world, just opened its 8,000th hotel in Maryland at its new global headquarters. So, Haley and I talk about hotels all the time. She knows I'm a Hyatt guy. I love Hyatt, but I've been slowly transitioning to Marriott just because of the massive portfolio.
Yeah.
And Haley, is it correct? Like, no one's even a close second. Like the second's not even close
It's at least over 1,000 or two for the next slot.
for the next slot. Okay. Okay. So, guys, that's great. If you're a Bonvoy member, you just have so many options. I'm staying at a brand new Bonvoy property in May. Excited about that. So
Yeah.
that's for another
No,
time, though.
that was the plus to Marriott purchasing Starwood. Originally, a Chinese company was actually looking to purchase Starwood years ago, and now they've just become this superpower with so many brands. I kind of wish on the lower side, the more like your Fairfields, Courtyards, Four Points, Sheridan. I would love to see those brands merge a little bit because there are so many brands under this Marriott umbrella that are kind of the same with that merger. So I'd love to see that combine a little bit
Sure.
more. But, especially with their top tiers and their upper mids, you're starting to see a lot of beautiful new renovation, new product line for design. They're doing a great job with those tiers.
No, that was great. Well, guys, speaking with hotels, this is kind of exciting news. Hilton is opening up a new hotel, part of their Curio collection in the Galapagos Islands. Now, before you freak out and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought that area was like
No, no, no.
sacred. You
Yes.
can't do humans. No, there are super strict environmental laws and procedures that cruise ships have to do, like the Celebrity Flora, and hotels to go there. Silver Seas Cruise Line actually last month opened a very small hotel in the Galapagos Island, and they had to follow the same guidelines. So if you're not wanting to do a cruise to the Galapagos Islands and want to just stay at a property, you now have an option with Silver Sea Cruises. They opened a hotel, but now Hilton has a property there. It looks beautiful. But remember, the Galapagos is not going to be a let's relax on the beach and drink Mai Tai.
Nor is it a
Uh,
cheap destination either.
no, it is you're up at 6 a.m. to go like do your tour and excursions. And it's just a very different destination. One I'd love to do one time. Like, I want to do it one time.
It's
Like,
on my list.
yeah. Although I'd probably do Flora versus the hotel, I think. So I could island hop.
If I had an employee rate, I would sell my soul to the hotel real quick. Ideally,
Right,
I'd
I know.
cruise it, but man, if a hotel rate popped up for like $100 with my employee rate,
Yeah. Well, you know what? Book 2 rooms. I'm there. I'm there.
all
All
right,
right.
time for that debate. Because I think you and I differ on this sometimes, and I think it also
We
depends
do.
on what your family dynamic is. There's a lot that go into this, but when should you use your airline miles or hotel points?
So this is a great question, and people ask me this all the time. Okay. So let me start off by saying I think there is a different strategy for hotels and versus airlines. Okay. So airlines, and I'm going to include credit card points in this, but if you have like an Amex, you like I view my Amex points and my Delta Sky Miles as one, because I can do a one-to-one transfer. Okay, so I view them as one. I think if you have any chance at hitting status or hitting the status you want to hit with an airline, you should never use points or miles to pay for flights until you have hit that status. Now, because of COVID, they are still giving you some, like with Delta, they are still giving you some MQMs. They used to not. Pre COVID, if you did an award ticket, you got nothing. Like, you just got in the plane, thanks for being a loyal customer, and that was it. Now they are giving you some MQMs, but you're not getting any of the MQDs, right? So the dollar spend. So I have lots of Sky Miles right now. I have some major trips coming up that I would love to use my points for, but I personally am not going to forfeit the extra MQMs of paying cash and not getting any MQDs. So if you think you're going to hit status or you want to hit a higher status, I think you should save your miles until you've hit your status and then redeem your miles.
That is a great point, and I do agree with you on that. Like, for example, you thought I was crazy for using miles to go to Spain at first. However,
I love you, girl, but I
I'm
still think you are.
so
I do.
it was a cheap trip thing for me, but I'm already right there. Like with how much I'm traveling for work, hitting my MQMs, like next week I will have my diamond MQMs.
Right, but the dollar spend's going to be the tough one.
The dollar spend will be the tough one, but I have other trips planned this year that I'm not super concerned with. But I think when you're in a family dynamic, when you're buying multiple tickets,
Sure,
kind
oh,
of
sure.
shopping around and seeing those rates. Like, I mean, even that one time when I was planning my work trip, when we ended up doing Playa, but we originally were going to do Costa Rica, but then some of the guidelines changed. I had scored round trip flights to Costa Rica for 12,000 miles. Like, if you're searching like that flexible fare calendar and you can save,
Right.
on a flight that's going to cost you $1,000+, I think you have to weigh that out. Now, would I burn my miles and, for a flight that would cost me $300-400 out of pocket? Probably not. Like we're looking up towards that like 1,000-ish
Yeah,
dollars.
and look, and also, if you're never going to hit like, for example, when you and I flew to Hawaii, like, I didn't really fly Delta a ton back then. I just used them for long haul. I was never going to hit status with
Yeah.
Delta. I paid with miles to go to Honolulu, right? So I did an award ticket to get out there. So, but now I will only do a reward ticket once I either requalify for platinum or hopefully hit diamond. So if I hit diamond, then, Q4, I'll use some Sky Miles. But another strategy is save them for the, oh my God, that's really
Yeah.
expensive, right? So, like, I'm kind of looking at doing some flights to Sydney, Australia next year. Delta One round trip is anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. That's a that's a lot of money, right? So miles, it's around 500 to 700,000 miles round trip for that. So I am kind of thinking I'm saving mine as almost like a bank account to cash in on the, oh my God, that's an expensive flight. So that's kind of my strategy with mine.
And I mean, and like, of course, for that flight too, you're not going to get your MQMs the way that you normally would.
Right. So
Um,
that's gonna be
so it's always a catch-22. But like, I personally don't view my Amex account as Sky Miles like you do. Like when it's
oh,
just
I
you, I
do.
think you have that luxury. But for me, if I can miles hack another airline for Jeff, Olivia, and myself to do a long haul stay to like Tahiti on another airline, instead of paying $5, $6, $7,000 out of pocket, I will do that. And and in the realm of hotel points, and this is something that I think people need to keep in mind too. So I just helped one of my not coworkers, it's a professional relationship, but she doesn't work for me. Kind of points hack a Hawaii trip. She was last minute running, and she has a unique setup. She has 3 kids and her husband. So finding a hotel room for 5, let alone, is always a little tricky.
Yes.
And she's like, I just want to go somewhere, the beach, whatnot. The one kid doesn't have a passport because they're 4. She hasn't done that yet. So, she's like, I just feel like I'm so limited. And she thought it was like, oh my gosh, I wish I could go to Hawaii like you. Well, her husband has a Bonvoy card.
Okay.
It's the only credit card they have. And he has 118,000 points. Now, she was looking maybe doing a couple free nights and paying the difference, but over that spring break week, it's expensive.
Oh,
And hotels
yeah.
near the beach, you're talking like 5, 6, $700+ per night, not per
Absolutely,
day,
you are.
per night. And I told her, I was like, let me look at it. Let me see what I can do. I found them a residence inn on Maui, oddly enough, that is right near Wailea. The hotel is $1,100 a night. But this being a residence inn fits 5 people. So I took those 118,000 points. Marriott is running that bonus where if you buy points, there's a 50% bonus. So they just had to buy the points differential. So they spent $1,100 to buy the extra points. And that is 1 week in this hotel now for
Wow.
$1,100.
Now, in hotel world, do you ever feel the same way about if you're going to hit top status with like World Hyatt or Bonvoy to save your points until you hit status?
Now
Or
it's a little different in hotel world because you'll still get a credit for the night,
the,
the
for the
stay.
stays? Right.
So, for example, when I went to my Hampton last week that I work on, I obviously didn't pay to stay there, but I still got a night credit
Oh, okay. Got it.
on
Okay.
that. So it's a little different. So I think the gist of what I want to say is when it comes to hotel points, sometimes using it for the free night isn't always going to be your best spend. Like you could use it for a free night, save $300 on that night. Like it kind of comes out to that dollar valuation of when, I would use my miles to save money. As if the ticket
Right.
is 1,000 plus. So do you know what? Yep, they had to buy extra miles out of pocket. But instead of paying $1,100 a night, they're paying $1,100 for the week in Hawaii,
Right.
which is unreal, let alone for a family of
Right.
5 on Maui.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So keep that in mind because some people sometimes get discouraged, like, oh, I don't have enough for a free night. There's different ways to kind of hack that. So Marriott's running these promos. And the nice thing about Marriott too is you can book the points right before you have the points in your account.
Oh, okay.
So for example, if you're getting one of those Bonvoy cards or you're doing one of those Amex promos where you're going to have a ton of points in 2 months after you hit your spend, you can still book the points rate as long as you get the points into your account before you stay.
Got it. Okay.
The more you know.
No, look, I mean, guys, I truly, Haley is my hotel expert. I defer to her. Like, I'll be like, hey, I kind of want to book this hotel. What do you think? She'd be like, no, do this. I just wish she trusted me with the
That
same
same
amount of.
intonation too.
I know. I just wish you trusted me with this. Your like with flight and cruise knowledge as much as I trusted you with hotel.
Oh, don't come for me for the flight knowledge, sir.
I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. Okay.
Air France KLM. Air France KLM. That's all I'm going to say.
So, guys, speaking of flight knowledge, this is a great, great hack, right? So, when you are flying with an airline that lets basically anybody but Southwest, and you get to pick a seat. SeatGuru.com is a great, great tool that lets you know seats that are okay, seats that are great, or seats to avoid, right? So there are some planes that are used for international flights, but they might do a domestic route or two. So they might have a premium select seats on that plane, but since it's the domestic flight, they're flagged as just like Comfort Plus. So when you go to Seat Guru and type in like your plane information, like, oh my goodness, this plane has premium select. I need to pick a Comfort Plus seat in the first 2 rows. Or, oh my goodness, this plane is actually a Delta One plane.
Yes.
I will spend that little bit of extra money for first class and get a Delta. I call it Delta point 0.5 if it's domestic, but still a Delta One experience, like with a bed and a pod, right? So Seat Guru is a great way to let you know, like, oh gosh, don't do this seat. The bathroom's right behind it, or do this seat. It's a little bit bigger. So Seat Guru is a great, great free resource to make your plane ride much more memorable, easier, and just a better experience.
Well, especially when you're looking at partner airlines like KLM, Air France, their Delta One cabin is not arranged
Correct.
the same way.
Correct. So I am flying Air France in May. I booked it through Delta One, and I use Seat Guru to pick my seat. and it let me know, like, okay, this is a good seat to get. But those planes have a slightly different configuration. So you're absolutely right.
Absolutely. Great tip. So, guys, just remember we are going to Alaska in August. And if you'd like to cruise with us, this is your guy to talk to over here. We have picked the pre cruise hotel. You picked the Thompson.
The
Correct. It's
Thompson.
right by Pike Place. So, great location. We'd love to have you join us. You only have a few rooms left, if I remember
Only
correctly.
like 2 aqua and I think 2 verandas, and that's it. And they're gone in like 3 or 4 weeks.
So, if you guys want to join us, deposit to Jason. When is final due for this cruise?
In about a month, I think. In about a month. Or is it in May? I think it's
Somewhere.
May. I don't know.
Somewhere in there.
I wasn't ready for the pop quiz, Haley. I wasn't ready.
I'll let this one slide. But guys, remember, if you love talking travel, we'd love to have you in the group up here. It's todayintravel.live. That's going to take you to our Facebook group. It is an open forum. It is all forms of travel, all cruise lines, all airlines, whichever tickles your fancy. Feel free to share some of your travel tips, ask questions. This is a collaborative group, and we would love to have you. Well, Jason, thank you so much. It's always a
Awesome.
pleasure.
Always a pleasure. And I'll see you guys next Tuesday.